Hello everybody and welcome back to Wine Free Wednesday. You are here with me, Anna Charles, and this is your midweek moment to just pause, rest and just decide. We're just going to nominate Wednesday to be wine free. It's middle of the week and why not? Now today I'm going to chat in a little bit about Sober October because it is around the corner. I know we're only just in the beginning of January, but my antenna have been up. I'm starting to see the newspapers are even starting to gear up a little bit around Sober October, and I just want to chat about that because I have a completely different take on it this year, like completely. But first I always like to give a little teaching moment. I like to give you something that you could take and employ and try out and think about, right? So much of this is what we think about. And I want to talk about two ideas, one being curiosity and one being judgment, right? Now, judgment, which is where many of us sit, I used to sit, and I see this in my clients all the time, especially when they first work with me, is why did I drink again? Why did I do that? Why do I never learn? So the questions might begin with why. So we could arguably say grammatically this is a question, but the question leads us to a kind of answer that's going to make us feel really stuck. Why did I do that again? I don't know, because I don't know better. Why am I such a screw up? I don't know. I always have. Why do I keep drinking so much? I don't know. Maybe it's because my family is a heavy drinking, whatever, right? I want you to see that while on the outside it looks like a question, because I'm always saying ask yourself questions, it actually leads you down this dirt track, and at the end of the dirt track, there's like a sewage pit, right? We don't want to be there. So instead, and that's what I would call that judgment. Instead, I want you to go to curiosity. Now, this is again asking questions, but I want you to see with these examples I'm going to give you, these questions are totally different. It's things like, I wonder why that craving felt so strong last night. I wonder why I really felt like I really wanted the drink last night, even though in the morning I was really sure that I wouldn't, right? I wonder why that always seems to happen to me when I'm with my friend. Is there something I can learn there? What if I tried something different just to see? Can you see that we're being curious? We're just thinking, we're just inspecting, we're just asking questions. And I want you to see that how you feel when you ask yourself one of those really judgy questions versus how you feel when you ask yourself what I call a curiosity-based question. It feels so different. It feels much lighter. And most importantly, when you're feeling lighter and you're just really being curious, you're much more likely to start taking action, right? You're much, rather than, okay, just got to put the drink down. That's normally what we're told. I'm on about just being willing to try all the things out. So that's, I think, really something that is very fundamental in coaching. It's something I spend a lot of time doing. And it's something that really, I think, to start with, seems like a bit strange to people, right? Of course I know why I'm drinking. It's just because, I'm stuck in the habit. And yes, it might be, but we want to peel that back. We don't want to be just accepting of its habit. Now, all of that being said, I want to get back to Sober October because as it's, what are we now, the 10th, I really want to tell you about something I'm doing because, every year we get them all out and it might be the daily prompts and it's like, come on, we can do it and we're going to get through the month and we're going to go a month dry. And many people who come to a discovery call with me, who are interested in working with me, they've done it all, right? They've maybe got the full suite. They've mostly got dry January, often got Sober October, and you might even have dry July in there for a royal flush, if that's a royal flush, right? So we do the whole things and it sort of becomes this annual event. And obviously if you enjoy the annual challenge, fine. But I really was thinking, okay, this is also tedious and also boring to me. I think, what can I do that would be different? Because I do want to do something around Sober October. And I want to say something that really is aligned with what I teach. And what I teach is There is no problem having a drink. What we want to do is we want to understand why we want to have the drink and how it fits into our life. We don't want to be drinking because we want it to change our feeling. We want it to learn that it won't make us feel better or feel worse. So I thought I want to do something that reflects that. So it's going to be an opportunity for people just to practice drinking less. If you really feel that going dry for a month is either something that's beyond your reach, by the way, it is within your reach, but if you feel it's beyond your reach or it's not something you're interested in, I still want something for you, as well as having all the people who really, yeah, I want to do the challenge. I want to do the 31 days dry. So instead, I want to treat Sober October. I want to reframe it rather than this one-off challenge as kind of a launch pad. Right, this is where we build the foundation. So much of my work with clients is about looking and building new identities. And we build these foundational identities one layer at a time, bit by bit by bit, right? It's like we crack open the old us and we build this until we become this new person. So I thought it would be such fun to make Sober October. It's kind of like we're building the foundation. And in order to do this, I've decided I'm going to set up a lab, because I really want to go into this idea of curiosity, and I really want everyone to kind of get a bit scientific about looking at ourselves and getting awareness of your patterns, right? Because there is advice out there that works for some people and not for others. We have all sorts of drinking patterns. Some people drink mainly home alone. Some people drink mainly only when they're out, some when they're bored, some to keep the party going. There's all sorts, right? And so just sort of this one type of vanilla advice, while it's better than nothing, I think it's really boring apart from anything else. So I want to run a lab in October. That's what I'm going to be doing. And we're going to be doing experiments. It's going to be fun. It's just going to be different. But in order to do that, I want to start teeing this up. I'm actually going to be giving next Thursday, so Thursday the 19th at 5:30 UK, and I think that is 12:30 Eastern. I'm going to be running a free webinar, and my title is Take Back Control and Learn How to Experiment Your Way to Alcohol Freedom this Sober October. And I really genuinely want to do this. I want us to be I'm going to be laying out some experiments, and actually on the webinar, I'm going to run an experiment with you. So you can come along, you can learn about what I'm doing, but we're going to run an experiment. I'm going to talk about the sneaky way your brain likes to keep you stuck. Even when you want something desperately new, your brain is going to have all these ways just to keep you where you are. Like I said, I'm going to run a simple experiment that you can then take. You will apply it to your situation on the webinar, and then you can take it and apply it in your life, right? So we're going to create an experience here. This is not just going to be me sitting, talking at you, and hopefully it's going to be a fun. So we're going to talk about why this kind of approach is much more likely to give you lasting change, right? Rather than, okay, right, sleeves up, it's the 1st of October, we just got to get through, and by the 1st of November, we're drinking again. I mean, I really want to offer, there is an alternative version to that. And it's going to be playful. I want it to be play. So I wasn't really, when I was at school, I wasn't really in the science kind of group, but I am married to a scientist, and I've been picking his brain on how scientists think and how scientists set up their experiments. And I've got this structure going where we're going to be looking at situations, and it's going to be fun. That's what we're going to be doing in October. But firstly, I want to really encourage you to come along to this webinar. As I say, it's totally free. There is going to be a replay, but you need to sign up for it in order to get the replay. And the replay will only be around for 48 hours, so through until the weekend, next weekend. So I really want you to do this. And I want to encourage you, bring a friend. If you are doing, don't like even really saying that, but if you're doing Sober October, hopefully I want this to be your last time, if that's what you wish. If you're doing it with a group of people, you're doing it with your mates down the pub, you're doing it with the friends you do yoga with, or the mums groups, or whatever, I want to encourage you to encourage them to come in too, right? Because when we're doing experiments in the lab, having lab partners is really excellent, right? Because we all get to see and we put our most inquisitive minds to work. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But as I said, and I will drop in the link to the show notes here under this little live video. I've got the link in there. As always, if you're like, yeah, that sounds great, but actually I want to get started now, I also am dropping a link where we can have a discovery call, totally free, totally no strings attached. If you're just like, oh my gosh, everything you say, Anna, that is just me, that is resonating. If you feel that this is your time, it is. Even if it's scary, right? I don't think I've had any client come to me who's decided to work with me to really reconfigure and create a healthier relationship with alcohol who wasn't really scared and nervous about what it entailed or what the future would be. So you are not alone. All right, so if anybody has any comments on any of this, particularly maybe on the idea, I want you to play with this idea of curiosity versus judgment. I just really want to test it for yourself. You don't even have to take alcohol. Take another area of your life where maybe you have a lot of judgmental thoughts. I used to have some about when children should be doing homework, maybe. And then if you notice you're feeling a bit judgy about it, just ask yourself some questions. Go to curiosity and you will see like that. You cannot hold curiosity and judgment in your hands at the same time. And the more we can go to curiosity and learning and figuring out and asking ourselves questions and supporting ourselves, that is how we build the foundation, and that's how we make change, and that's how we are willing to keep doing it because it feels so much better. All right, I don't think there's anything there in the comments here. As I always say, Facebook removes these videos from my feed after I think a month, so I always download them, and you can find them at all times on my YouTube channel, which is 90 Days Later with Anna Charles on YouTube. And as I say, so sign up now, go ahead and do it for this webinar. It's totally free. I'm going to run an experiment, right? You're going to learn something about yourself. You're actually going to be learning something that is going to help you to make the change that is totally different to you can do it or just put the glass down, which, you know, really over the long term doesn't help everybody. Let me put it that way. Okay, so that's everything for Wine Free Wednesday for this week, unless there's any comments. And if you do post comments after the fact, I'm happy to go in there and reply. And by the way, if anybody has a topic that you want me to cover in one of these sessions, let me know. Anna@90dayslater.co, or you can DM me on Facebook. I think that's the word, that's the terminology there, and I'll be happy to take you up on what you want me to talk about. Okay, that's it then. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.